Hey, good evening. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Thanks for watching again. We're back with another round of I Could Be Wrong. As always, I have Justin here with me tonight. Good evening, bro.
Evening, man.
All right, tonight we got a couple different topics. We'll get started with our reaction to Jimmy G staying in San Francisco. Obviously, we're both 49ers fans. This news broke yesterday afternoon that he restructured his contract to stay with the 49ers for the upcoming season, and then he'll be a free agent after that. He does have a no trade clause. Obviously, he could end up being traded if he signs off on it, but they can't just trade him to whoever calls with the best offer without him signing off on it. So I want to go ahead and discuss this one with you. Again, since we're both 49ers fans and we've been watching this closely, I'll let you go first, and then I'll give my take on how I feel about him staying here in San Francisco for this upcoming season. So you go ahead first.
Well, I mean, this has obviously been like a super hot topic over the last couple of days since the news broke. You've got varying opinions of quote what it means and reactions, I guess. So my reaction is probably going to be different than a lot of the reactions and my take from it, but it's going to be similar to a lot. So my initial reaction is, after nothing really materialized, that both sides could benefit from the 49ers and Garoppolo. No starting opportunities. Everyone seems to be, kind of set at their starting position, even though he could be an upgrade as a starter for another team. I just feel like there are certain teams out there that felt like, well, we're in a rebuilding year. Why trade for, I guess, a bridge quarterback when there's going to be a crop of good quarterbacks coming up soon? The injury didn't help out. So then we get all the way through the offseason here, get ready to go into the regular season, and he restructures his deal. So what that tells me is that since nothing materialized, this is probably what Garoppolo actually wanted. I mean, he could have easily said, "No, I don't want to restructure. You guys can release me or pay me what I want and go find a job anywhere else in the league as a backup quarterback, looking, hoping for an opportunity to compete." But I think ultimately he did what's in his best interest, which is staying with the 49ers at this point, seeing if maybe something can materialize up to the trade deadline, even. And for the 49ers, honestly, it gives them the best possible scenario because we all know what it's been like for the 49ers as fans when their starting quarterback goes down, right? So if Trey Lance were to go down or if there was lackluster play, I feel more confident now than I have in the last, 5, 6, 7 years in our backup quarterback situation because Garoppolo is a starting caliber quarterback. So that's my initial reaction. I think it's good for both sides. It gives both sides a little bit more time to see if something can develop as far as an opportunity for Garoppolo to say, hey, you know what? I'll waive my no trade clause. This is a situation I'd like to be in. Or, hey, I'll just stay with you guys. Like, what wrong? I mean, it can't do the 49ers really any harm by Garoppolo saying, you know what? I don't want to be traded that team. I'll just stay your backup quarterback.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think he'd do that um, if the opportunity came along where he wanted to waive his no trade clause.
Exactly.
You mentioned obviously a lot of people probably have different reactions as far as what that means as the 49, 49ers keeping him.
Yeah.
Some people feel like it's an indictment on Trey Lance and maybe the 49ers don't feel like he's ready. I don't think that's
Heard it a few
necessarily
times
the
too.
case. I mean, if that was the case, then they wouldn't have said this is Trey Lance's team moving forward, period.
Exactly.
I don't feel like they plan on turning back unless he just comes out and cannot play at the NFL level at all or he gets hurt. I'm kind of in the same camp as you. I feel like it's a win-win for both sides, but I'll say it's a win-win for both sides for now.
For now.
I feel like depending on what team maybe comes up with an offer, it could get a little hairy around the trade deadline, right? Maybe if there's a
Right.
team where the 49ers are like, hey, this is a really sweet offer, and Jimmy G's like, nah, I don't want to go play there, then it could maybe get a little hairy at that point because he does have the leverage there with the no trade clause. I don't think it'll get to that point, but obviously we'll have to wait and see as the season goes along, depending on what there's always somebody that, knock on wood, hopefully no one gets seriously injured, but there's always somebody that gets hurt. And there's always, a team that feels like they're right there on the cusp and, their quarterback away. And Jimmy G's shown that he can win some games. So I think, again, it could be a win-win for both sides as long as it doesn't get, crazy around any trade offers. Um, I think for the team, as you go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead. I'll give a scenario where I could see where it could really, come to fruition where Jimmy might be able to get traded.
Yeah. But I really think that from the team perspective, like you said, that they got a discount. He dramatically reduced his salary for this year. So that's a big win right there. It's almost as if they released him, cutting off $20 million of his salary. So that's a big win right there. They have a guy that they know that if for some reason Trey Lance does struggle or he ends up, now again, knock on wood, getting hurt, they have
Right.
a guy they know that go walk into the huddle. The guys in that huddle are going to trust him because they've been there with them. They've made it to the NFC Championship game. They've made it to the Super Bowl with them. So it's not like it would be an unknown coming in there, as you mentioned. And we've been through some struggles when our starter goes down, namely Jimmy G when he goes down.
Yeah.
We've we've struggled when he's been out. So he has so I think that's a win for the team. And again, it gives them a little bit of leverage going into the season on those other teams that maybe do run into an injury. He does become a trade token at some point as the season goes along, I do believe. So that's the benefit to the team. As far as Jimmy G goes, like you mentioned, I think that once he realized all the starting jobs were kind of taken up, where else would you rather be a backup than the team where you already know the system? Again, everybody's going to trust you. If you are called upon, you're going to go into the huddle. They trust you. You trust them. You have chemistry with them. So I mean, it's a win for him. And then at the end of the season, he gets to dictate where he goes at that point. So I mean, he has, as far as where he plays next, he has all the leverage. Either he can say, "Nope, you're not trading me," or yes, I'll go there. Or at the end of the season, he's going to be a free agent and he's going to go wherever he wants to go, anyways. Um, to me, this is a little. This is just my opinion. I could be wrong, okay, but uh, I don't think that Trey Lance is the biggest loser in all of this. I think the biggest loser in all of this is the Seattle Seahawks. I don't think for 1 second that Pete Carroll was really expecting to go through the whole season with Geno Smith as his starting quarterback or any other quarterback they have on the roster currently. I think that he was waiting it out and hoping that the 49ers just simply released Jimmy G, and that didn't happen. And he was going to go ahead and swoop him up. But again, that didn't happen. So, got a message for you, Petey. Those are the breaks. Suck it up. You're stuck with Geno Smith and Drew Lock. Good luck. So yeah, that's my take on Jimmy G staying in San Francisco.
Yeah, no doubt. I really, really do agree with you. I was going to mention a scenario, right, where maybe not even injury, right? So the Browns, for example, we know what kind of team they have. They have some talent. They have a really good defense. They have some talent on offense, especially in the run game. They trust Jacoby Brissett right now, but let's say they start off 1-3, 1-4, 2-4. Their schedule starts with the Panthers. You know Baker is going to be extremely motivated to go and take it to them, and I do believe that the Panthers are a better team than the Browns, and they have a better quarterback in this game. So, they're going to Carolina. That game's going to be in Carolina. Then they have the Jets, which isn't going to be, too tough. I think they have the capability of winning that game. But the Steelers, another game they could lose right there. The Steelers are a good team, and I think what we saw in the preseason is that whatever quarterback they roll with, whether it's Trubisky or Pickett, they're going to be rolling on all cylinders. Then they have the Falcons, a team that I think is going to be better than a lot of people think, especially with Mariota, who's a veteran quarterback in the league, not a rookie starting. And then they have the Chargers. So I could see the Browns easily starting off rocky and with the expectation that Deshaun Watson is going to come back like week 11, it might make sense for them if the season starts off rocky and they still feel like if they win some games with a better quarterback, that they try and get Garoppolo. Of course, that's contingent on Garoppolo waiving his no trade clause. knowing that Watson will be coming back week 11. I mean, it's that would be a scenario that I could see really coming to a fruition, or at least getting spoken about at some point in the regular season if the Browns struggle.
Yeah, I think we talked about it a couple of podcasts ago. I said I that's the way I see them making the playoffs is if they were to trade for Jimmy G.
Yep.
But you're right. I think that also with him having the no trade clause, he's gonna weigh the fact that Deshaun Watson's coming back. He's gonna weigh that heavily in his decision. And
Exactly.
does he want to again go to a spot where he knows he's eventually going to be the backup, where he's still going to be learning the system at that point, or does he want to stay in San Francisco? So
Right.
I think he's going to be in San Francisco the entire season unless an ideal scenario opens up where a team that's built similar to San Francisco win now, where he has an opportunity to play for the starting job. I think that's the only way that he waives that no trade clause.
I could be wrong, and it could be my fandom, but I think Jimmy G is going to earn another ring as a backup.
Hey, I'll take that.
Hey, I mean, what is he? He's got two rings already as a backup, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
A third one that gives him more rings than a lot of players.
Yeah,
I mean,
two as a backup.
That's too shabby.
Two as a backup, and he's one pass away from having one as a starter.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, well, we'll see. I hope so. I hope that comes to fruition. So, all right. So that's our take on Jimmy G staying in San Francisco. We'd love to see what your reaction is. So go ahead and leave us a comment, and then like and share with your friends.